Hey guys, it's Superior and welcome to PHP tutorial number 31. In this tutorial we're going to be looking at using conditionals in MySQL statements, which includes the learning how to use, well, there's only really one use of this statement, but learning how to use the where statement and learning how to use the where statement includes learning how to use the conditionals, which is probably the main part of this lesson. So I've just chatted for about a minute there, wasting time explaining stuff you probably already knew. So let's get straight onto it. Gonna go into the MySQL console. You should know what to do by now if MySQL console doesn't work for you. I'm gonna go ahead and use because you use the where command in a select query, and to use a select query you need to be inside a database because you need to use a select query on a table. So I'm going to use the data database, and now just so I know all the fields, I'm going to describe the users table just so I have a list of the fields which I can refer to. And now let's talk about the where command. So basically, if we're going to select all the data from the users table, what if we only want to select all the data from users which have a first or a last name equal to my last name, so a last name equal to Fenton? Well, we can use, after the select however many columns, or put the asterisk from and then the table name, after the table name just type in where, which is a MySQL command, and then you can start putting in conditions. So in this case, if I want to get if I want to select the columns from rows which only have the last name Fenton, I'd just say where last name equals Fenton, okay? And if I then run that, I have an error in my MySQL syntax. Where's the error? Oh, right, sorry. In MySQL, you only need one equals, okay? Last name, it's not where last name equals like it is in programming, where you have like if something equals, it's just where last name equals with a single equals. If I run that, then we only get one thing, and the table is completely screwed up because the console isn't wide enough. So now, considering that, I'm going to actually use localhost, guys. So I've already got WAMP started. I'm just going to go into PHP myadmin. Sorry, I'm not going to use localhost. I'm going to use PHP myadmin. But anyway, let's run that query again. Users where last underscore name equals Fenton. Okay, and because there's only one query which has last name Fenton. Oh, I didn't select the database. Whoops. Let's copy and paste this quickly. Go into the data database. SQL in here now. That would be the reason why that didn't work. Okay, and there we get that one record returned. Now if I go into users or actually I'll just go to the insert tab and insert another one, leave the ID blank, blah 15 or 14 rather, blah 20 or whatever, hello.2.com, first name whatever, last name Fenton, and it will be case sensitive, so make sure you get that all right. And then I browse here. Now we've got two things with Fenton in it. If I then run that query again, okay, we should get, yeah, and we get two results returned. Okay. One thing you might have noticed just quickly, actually, I just realized now, is that it goes 1, 2, 3, and then 5. The IT does. And the reason being is because before I created this blah14 user, I created another user which had nothing in it, so I wanted to delete it. So when I delete it, MySQL, or sorry, PHP myadmin, or no, actually it would be MySQL, wouldn't it? MySQL still has still thinks that the value of the previous record is 4, the ID is 4, even though it's actually 3 now because we deleted record number 4. But when it comes to create the next one, because it thinks it's 4, it makes the next one 5, and so on. So it's not a major problem, but you know, if you like to keep stuff even, all you need to do is go in there and change the ID. You just change that to 4. There we go. And there, now it's even. So that was how to use the equals. I'm not gonna well, actually I will yeah, okay. I'm gonna cover all the other operators now really quickly as I can. So select all from users, and then we can use where ID, and then we have less than, and I'm not going to cover all of these because these are all pretty much the same. You know, they work the same way. There's a less than, there's a greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, and not equal to. Okay, I'm going to say where ID is less than 3. Okay, or less than or equal to. Actually, less than 3. That's better. I like it that way. It's shorter. And if I enter that in, we should get 2 results, and we get the ID 1 and ID 2. Okay, so you can apply that with the greater than, the less than or equal to, and so on and so on. Okay. Now I'm gonna use the this example table for the next one, because the next one we're gonna cover is the is not null and the is null keywords. Okay, so let me just insert another row here with everything in it, because I've got one row where the first name is null, and I'm just going to put another one in where everything is in it. So first name, hello, hi. Okay, there we go. So now if I browse it, I've got ID 1, then null first name, then a last name, then I've got everything filled in the second row, and that will allow us to, that will help us to do this next one. So select all from example, where, and then here it's a good idea to put it between parentheses just to be sure, but you can then do something like where first name is null, okay, and it's actually typed out in letters, this, because there's no other way to do it. You type it out in letters, is null, so is null, okay, and then that should retrieve 1 result, and it retrieves the first result where the first name is null. Now if I go back and change that to is not null, it should retrieve the other result. And there we go, we get the other result. Okay. Now we have the between and not between keywords. So I'm going to use this one because I've got more records in this one, so it's easier. I'm going to say where, and then I'm going to put this between parentheses again just to be safe. Where ID is between